go to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaoh? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain.
All right, welcome back. What episode is this now, Carl, of Freedom Radio?
Oh, it must be 9.
9?
Yeah.
9,000, episode 9001. I don't even know at this point. But we are back.
I think it's 9.
Pathos.
It should be 9.
Carl and Pathos. And we have a special guest with us today, Rickard, which is Carl's drummer in Pantocrator, or as I say, Pantycrator in Southern Indiana.
It's more like I am his vocalist.
Yes. And so we have him as a guest to get on here and talk today and have a nice hot or cold beverage, depending on what side of the earth you're on and what time it is.
Yeah.
And talk music and things like that. So, okay.
Really cool for having me, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you are kind of involved in the name of the show.
I know.
And we didn't even ask you about that.
We're still building that up at this point.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, just so everybody would know, Patriot Act is our little group, working together across the Atlantic on patriotic.
Like a 2-song project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little slow going, but there's the idea there.
It's gonna happen.
The foundation is laid out.
Yeah.
That's right.
We need 1 song for each side of the pond, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good patriotic songs, and both America and Sweden, and just so it's really cool. And once it gets going more, it'll be hopefully we'll share it with everybody.
So I told you in text yesterday, but I haven't told Rickard, so I'm gonna do that. Hey, Rikke.
Hey.
I was at the English school yesterday.
Okay.
English school in Halmstad because of coffee,
Yeah.
And there was a black lady there, and when I came in, the other teachers asked her, "So how do you like Sweden so far?" And she said, "Well, with the pandemic and everything, it is the best place on earth to be right now."
Hallelujah.
Let's go to the music.
Yeah.
The theme for the day.
All right. Well, considering that we all kind of work together here and there on different things, like we've mentioned before, Carl, you've helped out with some things on my end, and Rick, you've also helped out with some stuff coming up, you and Rebecca, on the upcoming album. And so it's been very much appreciated over here for everything you guys have done. So what do we want? Me personally, I would like to talk about just you guys' latest album, Marching Out of Babylon, because I mean, I don't know really where to start with it other than just like I've said before, it's, in my opinion, you guys' best work. It's just absolutely amazing. So I guess tell me about, I guess it's a long history to the album, but just kind of sum it up for anybody that might not know about the album and like where it began and how long it took and all that, and then writing process, all that fun stuff.
Well, I started working with the songs on Marching Out of Babylon right after we released Incarnate back in 2014. And like in a couple of years, I think I had probably 5 or 6 songs. But then, things got in between, and we live with quite a distance between ourselves. So that made it hard to record with everybody present. So, yeah, I think it was a long time coming, that album. It was like delivering a baby for 7 years.
So if you started in 2014, you're still the lucky one, because I started writing lyrics for it in 2007,
I know. I know.
right after Aurup.
You're
We were
like
on the
10
Aurup
years
tour.
ahead of us, always.
We were sitting in the RV and just going, all
Yeah.
those miles of Europe, and it started to pump up.
Yeah.
Well, then there's a good question I can ask you then. How long when you write? You said you started writing around 2014 for this.
Yeah.
About when? How long did it take for the 5 or 6 songs that you mentioned you had there at first? How long did those take to become like pretty close to their final form? I mean, obviously they're going to change up until the day you're recording, but when did they finally take mold and shape to what they're really kind of what they are today? How long did that take?
I would say that they pretty early in the process, and then along the way we just made small changes to them, like adding some harmonies or adding some more harmonies, more or less, and then always arrangements and stuff come and goes, but pretty much early in the beginning of the writing process. I am. That's the way I work. I just want, I wanted to start and I wanted to end.
Yeah.
I think I had, like, for instance, I think it was Wedlock that was quite early written after Incarnate, and that song hasn't changed one bit, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, except for the melody, the darker melody, it came kind of late.
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs and videos, by the way. So
thanks, man.
You guys did a good job overall with all that, really.
Well, when it comes to those lyrics, I started in 2001.
Are you sure? Wasn't that?
Yeah.
It wasn't the 90s?
No, it was right after. It should have been on Songs of Solomon, like if you go by the theme. But it just came out after it was recorded. I think
after you got married,
when it was printing or something. Yeah.
Since I have the tools to write a song from scratch with with the beginning, chorus, verse, I just wanted to feel like it's a finished product when I introduced the idea to the band.
Yeah, you had a bunch of songs, and we sat down and had like our little. Everyone voted. For songs, like we had a number of votes, and then we like took the 8 that got the most votes.
Yeah,
and that freed up some great songs for Melek.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, because the Liberator is from your writings.
That's
and
right.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I wrote that for Pantocrator from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's Pantocrator's loss.
It is. It suits Melek just fine.
Or tidbits hidden in the album or about the album or the process that maybe people don't realize or know, or anything like that to you stands out as kind of like that was really cool, and I'm really glad that worked out the way it did, that sticks out in your minds, either of you?
I can only recall when we started to experimenting with acoustic guitars within the verses of, I think it was The Last Cheek. If you listen closely, you can hear that it's a stroke with an acoustic guitar in, like, I think it is the first verse, and I think that turned out super nice. It added just a bit of atmosphere and a kind of creepy feeling to the song that I'm really happy with that result. Oh.
And I think what's new for this album is the tambourine.
The tambourine, yeah. I got the idea from Soilwork. Soilwork is, by the way, one of my favorite bands. I love Björn Strid and his vocals. He's like a role model for screaming and for clean vocals as well. And their latest album, what is called Evigheten, or is it Tid?
Well, and I'm not sure about. I know it was Verkleiten back like 2 years ago was the one I bought. Yeah. I listened to it religiously. It just took me. It was the best album since I can't. Oh, golly, I can't even remember.
It just blew my mind.
Yeah,
it was really, really good. And I heard that they had the tambourine in some of the songs, and I got to use this somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's what was great on the listening end for you guys for Marching Out of Babylon, because it's death metal, but it's high production, very well done. Was it
Yanni Stefanovic? Yeah, mixed.
We got another master guy.
Another master guy, so he did the mix, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
And but the different elements in there, that it's death metal, but it's also got all this beautiful harmony and these really super catchy hooks. And, like different things like a tambourine that you're not going to hear that in a death metal song, but it works perfectly.
Yeah. I think it's in We the People as well.
Because it's just part of it, and when you go back, you're like, oh yeah, that's a tambourine right there. It just works so well, you don't even think about it.
No.
So, but if it wasn't there, you would notice it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I can't recall any more of these funny moments, but adding a lot more of the clean vocals to the songs made me. I think I'm a big fan of the pompous songs. Like when I first heard the Keep on Caressing album, the Reptilian, know that one?
I don't know. I'm not so familiar yet with their entire catalog. Just still dipping into the individual songs.
Yeah.
On different albums, and still trying to learn like track names and stuff. So.
Well. The album Reptilian is just my favorite album by Keep on Caressing, and I think it's the final song on that album. I can't recall the name of it though.
I'm searching it up right now.
Yeah, it's so epic, and I just wanted to reach that level of epicness in some of the songs. So when I wrote Phoenix Rising, I had one of the songs of Keep on Caressing in my mind. With choruses and big fat melodies, the feeling of
keep it Callison or Callicine or however whatever. I had heard of them from a long time ago, but they were never really on my radar very much, just here and there. But I think I was at work one night and I seen that video for, I'm going to have to look it up now. It's oh, dang it. I can find it really quick. It's a really one of their more well-known watched ones. I'm going to have to go to actually YouTube here to find it because
they were actually competing in the Eurovision Song Contest in Norway with one of the songs called, I think, Dragon something.
Yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay, Ascendant. Ascendant was the video that I was seeing come up in my feed on YouTube, and I watched it, and I just got this feeling like that's the first time I'd really sat down and paid attention more than just casual listening. Just the overall, the colors and the feel and everything was so early 2000. Well, I mean, it was from a 2008 album, but that's in my mind, that's still very early 2000s influenced with as far as Scandinavian metal and all that stuff, like the feel, the look, like these dudes are just like, who are these crazy guys from across the sea that look like they're fighting dragons? And well, in that case, I think they're actually saying they are the dragon, but but anyway, the video was really cool. And that's really what got me hooked as far as just like, that's where it's at for me. It was almost like the Crucible, almost like a condensed version of everything I've ever loved about Scandinavian, Swedish, Norwegian, all that stuff, metal right into one track.
Exactly.
And visual.
Yeah.
So
I got to know of the band because the guitarist and songwriter in Keep of Kalesin, Obsidian Sea, is the live guitarist of Satyricon.
Oh,
so
really?
that's his own band. That. Yeah. Cool. So he had this group of awesome musicians and then he founded Keep of Kalesin. The drummer is just sick. The double bass is just out of this world. Yeah. In some
he's
of the
got
songs.
A lot of YouTube videos. When I finally caught on and connected the two, like, wait a minute, I've seen that guy, and then now he's the drummer for Keep Callison. So,
and there's so much going on. When you watch playthroughs on Obsidian's guitar videos, I know how does he do that? And it just looks so super easy. And when you try it out yourself, I don't have enough fingers.
Exactly. I want to write like that, but then it's like, that's a lot of work to even come up with it. Well, okay, so this has been a really good conversation. Like we could probably keep going for months and years, and it would never stop. It's just a constant live stream. If we wanted to set it up that way, because we can
lie down in the green pasture.
And therein lies
He
the
greases
road
up
to
my
war.
head with oil.
Because those
Gives me
voices
kung
don't
fu
speak
in the
for the
face
rest
of my
of us.
enemy.
You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery.
Amen.
For should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaoh, but Christ have refused the cross, should the patriots that conquered Ridge have thrown down their guns and refused